Hi, Josh Barker with RE/MAX Tenant Country Real Estate. This month we're going to be talking about the changes that are coming to Shasta County in relationship to septic systems. Just to give you a little background, in 2000 there was a water situation that took place down in Santa Barbara. As a result of that, there was water contamination, and the state actually required the Water Quality Control Board to do an environmental impact study and to determine what the best measures could be to protect our water systems as a state. Well, naturally the entire state is not the same. Santa Barbara is clearly different than we are in Shasta County. But the solutions that the state came up with is that they wanted to separate groundwater from septic systems and to prevent contamination, and they determined that you'd have to have a separation of between 4 and 20 feet. So extremely stringent. In fact, if we applied that requirement to Shasta County, it's likely that almost no homes would actually qualify to have a septic system. Or one that would economically make any sense to install. So what happened was that the counties inside of the state responded back to the Water Quality Control Board and said basically, hey, we can't comply with that stringent of a requirement. And they adopted what was called LAMP. It was a local agency management program. Each county was responsible for submitting their own plan on how they were going to protect the water system itself, okay? So what took place in Shasta County is currently there has to be a 1-foot separation between groundwater and a septic system. That's what it is currently. In May of 2018, that requirement's going to change. And when it changes, it's going to require water separation to be from 1 foot to 2 feet. Now that's going to have an impact on existing systems, and it's also going to have an impact on septic systems being installed in the future. What you're going to start to see likely are systems are going to have to become more and more shallow. And as they become more and more shallow, it increases the chances that there's going to have to be additional engineering and design in order to facilitate an operational septic system. So pumps, perhaps curtain drains, raised berms, and a lot of different types of methods for creating a septic system and meet the new requirements of LAMP. So that's the problem. Here's what you need to know. If you already own a piece of property in Shasta County and you're thinking about selling it in the next couple of years, you may want to consider actually getting that septic permit issued sooner, before May, okay, than later. Because if you get it done and get it submitted before May, you can stay under the current existing guidelines. If you wait till after May of next year, you'll be subject to those new guidelines. Secondly, if you already own a home and maybe you have a system that's limping along, you might want to consider getting that septic system situation resolved now under the current guidelines and requirements versus waiting until May, because if you wait till May and you have a problem and you try to resolve it, you're going to be subject to the new requirements. So again, if you have a septic system limping along, look into that. Now, for all of us who may already have septic systems on our properties, it's a good idea to consider this. If you have a good maintenance plan, okay, and you're actually taking care of your septic system properly, not only could you extend the life of it, but you also decrease the chances of there being a problem that would obviously trigger a very expensive situation. Now, I talked to the Shasta County Environmental Health Department, and I asked a few questions about, hey, you know, what are the costs associated with some of these systems? And there were some examples, and these were extreme examples, but recently they had issued 3 different permits on average for $35,000 a piece just to install the septic systems. So this is going to be a very expensive problem for the county to solve. Now, in my interview with the county, I did ask questions like, well, okay, well, what if you don't have the money? According to the county, there's no actual fund set up yet, but they do believe there will be one in the future. It's probably not associated to the county itself, but more at the state level, at the Water Quality Control Board level, where maybe you can get a loan to be able to facilitate some of the repairs on these septic systems as they fail in the future and are now subject to the new requirements. So these are all things that I want you to be aware of it. It's coming down soon, and I don't want you to be caught off guard. Now, lastly, if you want to learn more, okay, I'm not your source for learning more about it. What I would recommend that you do is you can talk to the Shasta County Environmental Health Department, a gentleman there by the name of Ken Henderson. Ken is the Senior Environmental Health Specialist, and he'll be able to kind of walk you through some of the steps that are necessary in order to, you know, resolve your issue. I assure you that I've talked to Ken myself, great person. I'm sure he would give you some advice on what to do now, right away, so you're subject to the current regulations versus waiting until May when you have to deal with the state. So he's sensitive to that. So if you talk to him soon, that might be a good idea. And then beyond that too, if you're looking for advice from people that actually install these systems, what we would recommend is you talk to a registered environmental health specialist, okay? There's multiple people in town that qualify for that designation, but they tend to have the most knowledge when it comes to how to solve the problems with septic systems and to meet those new requirements that are coming down in the future. So in any case, I hope this information was valuable to you. If you have any questions at all, feel free to give us a call. We'll at least try to direct you in the right direction. And as always, I hope you have a great November, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks again.